Alright, what is going on, guys? Another year of Call of Duty, of course, means another year of the anchoring series. And I've been getting a lot of tweets, like I've said it before, a lot of tweets. Everyone's in my stream chat. I'm doing it, guys. It's here. I'm starting today on Ardennes Forest, however the hell you pronounce it. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do it this year. I might switch the format when I go like video to video. So, you know, if I'm missing something that one of you maybe wanted to know that I didn't mention, so be sure to leave a comment and let me know. I'll go over it in the next video. Alright, so we're going to hop right into it, guys. On this map, I'm going to say Axis is the bad side, per se, because getting the first hill is way more difficult on this side than it is if you're spawning ally side or over by cabin on that back bridge. So immediately off the spawn, what my team has started doing, what a lot of pro teams have started doing, is just smoking the cross, because it's like diving across right here when you just have like head glitches all over cabin. Just getting into the hill when you're automatically weak and then you just die to a nade for free is not really what you want to do. Alright, as always, a first hill is a 50-50. You know, there's not really a correct way to hold a first hill. You know, it's kind of just a scrappy, probably 25-second hill. So, if you're spawning on this side, like I said, just try to cross as much as you can. Just keep smokes down so they can't just spray you down while you're crossing. If you're spawning on the other side, it's a little bit easier because you come off spawn, you can come around bend over here, and then you immediately see them cross. You get about the same time here. By the time you run up here, you can see them crossing right here, and then everything is wall bangable in this game, so you just shoot through it. Holding these headies is a little bit easier than holding bunker. Keep in mind you can shoot through all of this, so if you have FMJ and like an FG, you can easily shoot through this stuff. You can shoot through the headies on bunker as well. You know, if someone's doing the opposite, you can watch your team cross from bunker, which also is a pretty good play. Is you can sit in this right corner and bunker, and you can watch people cross to the hill like this, which is sometimes what I do. After I throw the smoke, I'll come in here and do that. Another thing about this hill, guys, is middle map control is super undervalued because, just because people think the hill's on the side of the map, this is where the gunfight should be, which is actually the opposite. You kind of just want to fight through middle map because, say, if you're spawning on bunker side, it's like I said in the beginning of the video, it's really not what you want to do. Just crossing the hill is really difficult. You're just going to get naded out. You're going to get team shot. It's not the ideal situation. So if you fight through middle map and then, come through cabin alley and maybe get behind them and like off the break of the hill, if your teammate wins that one in the middle of the map, you can instantly get behind them and shoot them off the hill for your guy on the hill. Or maybe flank through like wood heady and get them out of control of this, and then if you flip the spawns, maybe that's when your team starts to win the middle hill. That's when you can get 35, 40 seconds, something like that. Middle map control is huge. Number 1 on this hill. Number 2, just make sure you smoke out the cross if you're on bad side. And number 3, always have someone watching the cross on both sides, maybe from woodheady on the side or bunker on the left, just so you have information of how many people are on the hill, so your teammate doesn't get surprised if someone jumps around the corner. If you get them weak, make sure you call out nades, things like that. So, the rotation to Ruins Hill. This hill is, again, kind of a middle hill. It's kind of a toss-up, but if held correctly, it can be a money hill on this map. So the ideal setup here is, doesn't matter really what side of the map you start on, as long as you finish anchoring bell side, which is the side over here, because that's the rotation of bunker, which bunker is the money hill on this map. So off the break of the hill, if your team has full control, your ideal setup is someone up here on one of these headies. If you guys didn't know these, you can sit behind the head glitches here, which is pretty much the best spot on this hill, I would say, as long as your team is watching middle map, because that's really the only place you can die from. So if you have someone like in middle map, maybe fire tank or by army truck or something like that, you can just sit here. They'll be spawning coming through back dome, which is this building, or inside dome, and then contrary for the other side, you can sit on the back heady again. You can watch back bell or inside L wall, things like that. As long as you have middle map control, which is absolutely monumental on this hill, it's kind of the theme for this entire map, is regardless of where the hill is, middle map control is the easiest lane to break and retake a hill from. So as long as you're holding middle map, you have an AR player up here, which is typically me on this hill, and then if you have a sub player roaming through dome or L, anywhere really, it doesn't matter. As long as you maintain hill control and middle map control, you're good to go. Your subs can just roam freely, do whatever you want. A spawn trap is really, really easy on this hill, and then the thing about it is if you win it convincingly, most of the time teams aren't just going to feed you streaks. Some teams might just hold the L and rotate to bunker on like 30 seconds. Other teams might hit the scrap time, but if you start hitting scrap on this hill, that's when the game gets really out of control and you can get full streaks in 2 hills. Because just sitting here killing people is probably the easiest thing that you're going to be able to do, because you're sitting on a heady, there's people are sprinting into. It's not hard. So the rotation of bunker is you want to maintain bell side. Now, staying on this hill for a second, if you spawn back bridge, middle map control, again, is huge for breaking. If you can get into middle ruins and just disrupt the setup, maybe smoke, nade them off hill. Nades are huge on this map. Nades are huge throughout the entire game, actually. That's probably something I'm going to touch on a lot during the series, is nades break setup super easily just because of how strong they are. Get nades up here. That's probably your first step to breaking this hill, is time up nades to get the guy off the top head glitches. And then, start working your way through the headies, maybe get them off middle ruins, and then start working your way up the hill. There's a couple good lines of sight you can see in the middle map from up here. And then once you have top control, it's really massive, because then that's when you can post up with an AR, start getting those streaks, start lapping up that time. Like I said, if you're on the losing side of this hill, you want to rotate around cabin, because chances are you're going to be spawning out bridge. So, you know, if your in-game leader, or, you know, if someone makes the call, hey, let's just, you know, give up the time, I don't want to feed him streaks, because that's when this map can get really hectic. Just rotate around bunker, hit it with 30 seconds left. And then at that point, you know, you beat them on rotation, you can just kill them out of the back, then they start spawning bridge, and then you guys are set up for new, which is the money hill. Now, like I said, if you're holding, you want to just stay bell side and have someone anchoring the spawn so they don't flip out. So always have somebody by bell, just so, you know, you're not spawn trapping, everyone's in the middle map, and then suddenly they spawn behind you. Just maintain this bell spawn, keep them spawn trapped over here, and then start backing up progressively as the hill ends. Alright, now we're moving into bunker here, guys, and this is the absolute money hill on this map. It's the easiest one to hold. Now, there's going to be two ways that the enemies are coming from. Front cabin, which, you know, they could have smoke grenades. They'll just smoke out your front, so the guy in the hill can't really call out or give your team any information at all. And they're going to be coming through fire alley and middle map. Now, there's a chance they could get a bell spawn if your team isn't back here, which they could spawn, like, right here. And at that point, you know, someone in the back just has to realize that call it out to the team. And there's a couple good head glitches back here. Maybe in the hill, which is the one that I kind of prefer. You can sit right here. You can actually jump shot from back here. It's pretty good. You know, you can sit all the way in the back. But the ideal spawn you want is back bridge, which is super far away. It's really easy to hold. So you just want to have somebody in the window roaming around, holding cabin, getting information for your team. Dying out of hill here is the only way that an enemy team can really break a setup. Once the guy in hill dies, then it kind of disrupts everything, because that's when they can push around the back for free, because everyone's getting a little hectic on who's going to pick up hill. And fire alley control is also huge, because if a sub player can like kind of sneak in a front bunker and get this pick, it's going to be massive, because then the guy's cabin can just roam for free up to the front of the hill. So a couple points on this hill. One, maintain fire control. It's absolutely huge on this hill. It's probably the only way that an enemy team is going to break. Number two, recognize the back spawn. Make sure someone is always looking back here just in case. And number three, don't let them break through the front. They're going to be, you know, crossing a cabin alley, crossing into first hard point, and that's like, that guy should be made useless. You shouldn't have an opportunity for him to get a kill. It's really not hard to win this hill at all. It's really just like post-up gunfights. There's not many like crazy spawns that an enemy team can get other than that bell spawn, which, like I said before, is pretty easy to pick up on. So as long as you have someone back there to realize it, it should be good to go. Now this hill it's pretty much a contest fest, I would say. There's a couple things that you do need to know about this hill. One, cabin control is absolutely monumental. You cannot win this hill without having cabin control, regardless of what side your team is spawning on. So say you're spawning bridge side, your team has hill control. If you just hold this, think about it, the only way they can come through middle map, or the only way they can break the hill is coming through middle map. You're just going to nade them or sit on a head glitch on the yellow barrels on the hill to kill them. They can flank ruins. Your teammates should be watching that already. Or they come here, which at that point, you're just staring at them as they run into you. Say you're spawning bunker side. Turn around, watch back bend. They can't get the cabin from here. If you lose this gunfight, you suck. That's pretty much what it is. You shouldn't lose this gunfight at all 10 times out of 10. So as long as you hold this, they're spawning bridge, this is the spawn trap. Like, they're not getting on the hill. You know, have somebody roaming here, just hoping they don't get behind you. Have someone maybe in cabin alley to just peek them, because they're spawning right there. So have somebody in the hill, staying alive. Maybe someone roaming cabin alley just to make sure that they're not just jumping at you for free on the hill. And have somebody ruins, because the ruins flank is huge on this hill. That's the play that most teams are going to try to make to break this hill. Is maybe as soon as it pops from bunker, they're going to reflank that bridge spawn and just try to kill you as soon as you're coming off of spawn. Somebody recognize that. Make sure you hold cabin. And then the hill is super nade heavy, because you spawn up and you can instantly get a nade on the hill, so you have to be a little bit wary of that for the rotations of people on the hill if they die. And then spawning on the other side from fire, nades again super heavy. They spawn back bunker, so they can immediately just, you know, get a nade over the hill, have somebody weak, maybe a team nade or two, and they're dead. So if you're spawning bunker side, try to, you know, send maybe one on that sneak OE ruins. Fighting through fire to cabin really isn't very good, because like I said, those head glitches are really hard to actually win. But just getting right onto the hill, spawn trapping and back bridge is probably your best bet if you're spawning out. But if you're spawning bridge again, get nades on the hill, hold cabin control, maybe like bait and switch the guy that is head glitching cabin and back bend, maybe have someone like dolphin dive out, play that head glitch and just trade that out. You can flank ruins back into middle map to get behind them, it's also a good play. The edges of the map are super important on this hill, which is kind of contrary to all the other hills where middle map is way more important than the actual hill itself. So just make sure you guys are keeping track of that. Don't leave any lanes open, because if they get behind you, that's when the hill, you know, starts to get flipped, and then you get flipped out, and then you're screwed. I'll go through the spots on each hill one more time just for you guys. I don't think I elaborated on it very well. If you're spawning on bridge side off the break, my job is really just watch the cross, make sure they can't cross without me knowing it, or at least getting them weak or something like that. You know, maybe just literally just playing the headies for as long as I possibly can without dying, because they're just going to keep sprinting to the hill from yellow barrels or playing bunker heady or something like that. That's all you want to do on this hill really as an AR player. And then if you're on the other side, just maintain bunker really. Just hold the crosses. If you're not in this spot watching the cross, you can challenge yellow barrels, but that gunfight is really not what you want to do. It's pretty difficult to win onto wood. Keep in mind, like I said, you can wallbang this, so maybe just shoot through it instead of trying to just hit their head. More of a contest hill, again, it's not really a money hill that you want to worry about. Moving on to ruins, the ideal setup again is a player like me on top of the hill, just killing them as they run through dome or L. Again, guys, for this hill, the ideal setup is a player like me on top, you know, just watching them spawn, running into you, just beating you streaks. Streaks are really easy to get on this hill, so if you get them, it can really swing the game. So if you get close, make sure to play for them. Like I said, middle map control on this hill, sub players just roaming free. Make sure you're not, make sure you are blocking Bell, because if they spawn behind you, that's when things can get kind of hectic. That's when they hold a bunker, and that's when they can come back. So just make sure you have someone anchoring Bell. If you're not up here, make sure you are doing it or picking up on it and recognizing it. But if you are up here, just get streaks as easily as you possibly can. Alright, moving on to bunker. I typically play bunker. I play in the hill a lot, or I play first hill. So if I'm in the hill, I'll play the front heady, which is right here. You know, I'll just hold cabin alley. Don't sit right here. This is probably the easiest place in the window for you to get killed. So I typically play the right corner because they can't cross anyway, even if you are over here, and it's a little bit better covered. Bunker is huge again, guys. I can't emphasize it enough on this. Just make sure you're maintaining bunker control. And then moving into last hill, I play the hill here a lot, or I play cabin. This hill is a little difficult to play as an AR player just because of how many nades there are, and you know, once you get naded, if you challenge a heady, you're pretty much going to die against anyone with a decent shot. So you kind of just stay down. If you can avoid nades, maybe like just get like a sneak kill off the barrels, or maybe like lay down as a guy tries to push you from ruins. Just try to get those cheap kills that are pretty easy. If you're not in the hill, I play cabin typically. Just hold the crosses, make sure they don't get behind you guys and flip you out, play the other side as well. As long as you maintain this part of the map, you're typically going to win this hill. There you guys go. If I didn't go over something you want to know, if I went too fast, if I went too slow, if I didn't explain things a certain way, just be sure to let me know in the comments, guys. I'll try to fix it for the next one. Like I said, this is the first anchoring video this year. I'll probably redo them like I have done every year, probably halfway through, you know, something like that. If I did mess up anywhere, I do apologize, but I'm trying to get back into the swing of the YouTube, guys. I'm going to be uploading pretty regularly. The schedule for my streams, on the other hand, isn't very regular at all. I try to stream every day, but if I miss a day or two, I do apologize. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Have a good rest of your day.